Hello, dear explorers. Nice to meet you, or nice to meet you again. Today I have a special guest, Liana. Hello, Liana.
Hello, everyone.
And welcome to this space. Today we are going to discuss the topic of the programming partners and what do they mean? How do we work with them? How do we better understand the concept of programming partners? It's a question I get often from my clients, and I hope this video will bring more clarity. So Liana, thank you for being here, and thank you for starting such a interesting theme for, for both of us and for other people, because it's one that I feel can be a provocation to explain more about it. So let's start. I will first show a chart, and I will explain from the astrological point of view what the programming partners mean. And then Liana here will present the Gene Keys approach and what they mean in a Gene Keys profile. So I'll share my screen and you will see. Here we have a mandala, a quantum mandala that represents all the 64 hexagram we have during 1 year. So right now we are in the energy of the gate or the Gene Key 50. It's at the moment in the Libra sign. So it's partly Libra and at the end a bit Scorpio energy. So we are here, the sun is here activating this key, and the earth is now in Gene Key or gate 3. This opposition between one sign and the other, this 180 degrees opposition, is what in Gene Keys is called the programming partner. In astrology, it's called opposition. So we have two very different forces, opposing forces, that blend in a way to create a dynamic response. It's one of the most dynamic aspects in astrology, and it's one that might create sometimes friction, sometimes magnetism. So from the astrological point of view, it's one of the dynamic aspects. So when you work with the oppositions, you work with two polar opposites that create together, they create a new type of force. So I wanted to show them on the wheel, so how you can easily identify them. And Diana, what's your view upon the programming partners from a Gene Keys perspective?
Yes, when we first discussed about this, we realized that the idea of the programming partners came up with the Gene Keys. So in human design, you don't have actually programming partners as such. And in astrology, you have this opposition, you have this dynamic aspect. But in the Gene Keys transmission, you start looking at them as a unified field of consciousness, like two polarities of the same type of energy, but expressed in two different ways. And for me, the polarity, it's really nice you said about this, this interesting aspect and dynamic. It's about the creative tension. And the creative tension, you can either live in as a drama, as a conflict, as two opposing forces, or you can actually have children with it. It's like you create something new, and children can mean, projects, ideas, babies, anything. But this type of dynamic that actually can be used to further the evolution. And if we go with it at the basic, is the yin yang kind of a dynamic or tension. And of course, in these tools in Gene Keys, for example, or astrology, you can actually see the nuance of this type of yin yang dynamic through the opposition. So how they actually create this tension that can go to something new, totally new.
Mm-hmm. I think it's funny you say about the opposition, because we both have it in our charts. We are born in the sun and moon opposition, so it's like, oh yeah, opposition, it's so easy, like but it can be a very intense type of aspects. And what I find the Gene Keys approach brings interestingly to this whole picture is, I think it brings a kind of gentleness. It presents the programming partners in a more gentle way. It's like it's teaching you how to see both sides of the story, and just, like, imagine you put two people that see reality very differently, you put them in the same room and they can find a way to, as you said, do something creative, build something creative. And I do value the Gene Keys perspective for this. It definitely has a gentle and richer way of understanding this.
And it's really nice we're doing this, we're starting this in the gate of equilibrium, in the key of equilibrium. So it's about bringing harmony and bringing a balance exactly between this what's perceived as opposition, but actually it's just different aspects of a more potent field of consciousness. So.
Yes, it was interesting when we decided to do the episode. We were like, okay, let's do something we have in our profile. Do you have that? No. Do you have that? No. Okay, let's do it on 50. So neither of us has 50, but here we are starting a series on this, on the 50 and 3. So if you people who watch it have 50 and 3 or 50 or 3, and you want to share how it feels for you having this programming partners, please do. We will definitely learn from you. So how is this duo between 50 and 3 for you? What speaks to you? How would you present them as two programming partners that co-create together?
Yeah, so what I've learned in my experience and practice with the Gene Keys is first I started to actually explore them through the frequency bands. So it's like you have the 50 with the corruption and the equilibrium and the harmony as frequency bands, and you have the 3 with the chaos and the innovation and the innocence. So when I first read about the programming partners in Richard's words, he said that actually, and we all have them, is the first thing we meet, the opposition we have in our activation sequence. Like we have Absolutely. 2 pairs of 2 programming partners. It was about the way they actually, on the shadow side, catalyze each other. Like the shadow becomes deeper as a frequency, and on the gift on a CD side, they actually enrich each other. So it's like having, as you said, like 2 different persons with 2 different types of skills. And at the shadow level, it's like they are just holding on to their side of the story. And actually, the shadow level is the level where you put the other into defense. And you actually make him be even more aggressive sometimes. So I see the shadow level in this partnership as being the level in which you attack and defend somehow. So you have, whenever you have corruption in communicating or sending the data and not having clarity, it might be conscious or unconscious corruption, you will get the chaos from the third key. So that's the actually what appears through this tension. So you will create anyway. That field is there. They're together no matter what. So for me, the programming partners, you can separate them. So it's only a matter of what do you create with those energy. So you would like to create chaos and corruption. Because in chaos, in a frequency of chaos, of course, it's much easier to, be corrupted or transmit corruption. And then another breakthrough I had with the partnerships, it was that sometimes it was easier for me to access the frequency of the gift in one of the keys through the gift of the partner. So it's like for me, sometimes if I can't quite get what equilibrium means in my life, So what is it? How does it play? Even if it's something like we all understand in some way or another, but I don't quite get that frequency. What is that? I would go to the 3, to the innovation, to looking at things in a fresh perspective, to see what do I need to learn, what do I need to integrate, how can I collaborate with somebody, because innovation always comes when we integrate new perspectives in our old ways of being and thinking. And then I might see and understand better what equilibrium is, or practice it better. And at a Siddhic level, for me, it's just like that's the sacred union. It's like you have harmony and innocence. And always when I connect to the programming partners at their Siddhic level, it's like seeing two faces of the same divine face. It's like, of course, where is harmony, there is innocence. And of course, innocence always brings with it harmony, because why wouldn't it be like that? So, and
Yes.
that's my take for now. For me, is that dance and the way they actually support each other at these highest frequencies. And of course, sometimes what I found is like sometimes I could access the gift from one of the partners in order to transmute the shadow of the other. So sometimes when I see there is chaos, I just connect to the frequency of equilibrium in order to then go forwards to innovation somehow, to open the field of innovation. So it's always like that. It's like a zigzag for me, the way the programming partners work.
The dance of the programming partners. Yes, beautiful perspective. Thank you for sharing. I will share the screen shortly because I want to also show people how they can look at the gene keys and see which the programming partner is and what the frequencies bands are. Sometimes we might forget them. So I will share my screen. And in the description, I will share the link where people can go and see. So the Gene Keys site has this very beautiful living library. So we are here in Gene Key 50, the one that is activating the sun right now. So we can see here the programming partner. It's always written. So we have like the main key, let's say we are studying, and here we can look what the programming partner is. We can also see what the zodiac signs are associated to it. So as Liana was saying, you can look at the frequency bands. So you have the shadow of corruption and the shadow of chaos. You have the gift of equilibrium, the gift of innovation. You have the siddhi of harmony, the siddhi of innocence. And you can do this exercise with any keys that you want. You have here the library, just click on whatever gene key appears to you, and you can do the same exercise if they're not yet familiar to you. The same, you will find 22nd and the programming partner of 47 and so on. So I just wanted to show the how to investigate further in the case that the programming partner doesn't come into mind when we're speaking. And further approach, if you feel like doing that, sometimes my clients tell me, hey, I don't have that key in my profile, I don't have the activation program, the programming partner, but I do feel the transit. So many times, like my case here, you might feel a transit because you have the channel, you have part of that channel. For example, 50 is in the same, it's in the channel of nurturing with 27, and I will show you my chart here. I don't have 50, but I do have 27. So if you're familiar to human design, you might feel this activation because you have part of the channel. So when the sun is activating the other part, you might feel the whole channel, or you might feel that energy of the channel. So sometimes this can be the case too. In this specific week, I feel that I have 50. The main idea I wanted to share about programming partners and oppositions, for me, they bring richness in understanding relationships. I love working with couples and I love doing couple charts. So the Gene Keys approach and the approach of the programming partners and the oppositions brought a richer view for me. I can better understand charts and I can see how people that have programming partners, I'm in a kind of relationship like that. My activation sequence is exactly mirroring my fiance's. I can see how people that have programming partners do co-create in a very interesting way. And it's a very easy way to work your profile when you find persons that have the programming partner, because they mirror in fast forward everything that you have in your profile, and not just a relationship, like not just the romantic relationships, even in friendships. I do recommend working your profile with someone. Find another person you work your activation or Venus or Pearl with, because especially if they have programming partners, because they will mirror what you have there, and it's a much faster and richer understanding of the energy. And the opposites do bring this kind of negotiation, finding the middle ground. And if we think what is the middle ground in a Gene Key, the gift is the middle ground. So you make that equilibrium between the shadow and the CD, and there is the gift bringing the balance. About 50 and 3, there are two keys that provoked me very much, because they're on the cusp. When we decided to start with 50, I was like, wow, 50 is part Libra, part Scorpio. So I think as an astrologer, I look at what the sign is. So I would treat differently the programming partners when they are in the Libra energy or when they're in the Scorpio energy. So in case you do have 50 and 3 on the Libra and Aries activation, I would look at it from the perspective of equilibrium in partnerships, which is Libra, and innovation in seeing the self in new ways, because Aries is all about the self. So I would work with these two if I know the 50 and 3 are in Libra or Aries, and if they are on the last lines of 50 and 3 and they are already in the next sign in Scorpio, I would work with equilibrium on not manipulating. Like Scorpio has a very different way of understanding equilibrium. It's more about the power, the inner power and outer power. And the innovation here becomes a Taurus energy, and the Taurus is the creator. So how do I use my innovation to create? I do like to look at the astrology behind the Gene Keys. And in this case, we have 2 signs. So I wanted to, to wrap that up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anything you want to finish with? Is something come into mind?
I'm really happy that we started this on because 50 and 3 are 2 archetypes that are very much rooted in relationships, one way or another. So with 3, it's like going from the unicellular kind of existence to multicellular, and then 50 is about hierarchy and going from being an individual that's free in his creative expression towards collaboration and harmonious relationships and groups. So actually what I see, it's like the programming partners are like the building blocks of understanding the consciousness field that it's behind everything that's actually harmonizing and uniting, like even our profile or an astrology map. It's like all those aspects are actually partners one way or another. So once we understand this, the basic dynamic between the opposing partners, which is the highest tension, the highest creative tension, then it's much easier to integrate all other types of dynamics that will be in the end harmonized, and they will reveal something higher and the essence that's there. So I really think it's a good time to start this series. And thank you for inviting me to the opening.
To the party.
To the party, yeah.
Yes. Thank you for being here. And I hope what we spoke about is relevant and important for you. And in case you do have this combination, please let us know how it plays in your life. And in case you're curious about certain programming partners, do write to us and we'll try to make it happen. Thank you for watching and see you soon.
Bye-bye.